A few weeks ago, I received my payment from the Canadian Bread Settlement. Nothing life-changing. It wasn't a lottery win or some secret government program. It was compensation for buying bread. And that's exactly why I almost didn't make this video. Because on the surface, it sounds ridiculous. You bought bread, you filled out a form, you got paid. End of story. But then I started seeing comments from Canadians saying things like, wait, there was a bread settlement? How am I only hearing about this now? The claims are closed already? And that's when I realized the real story isn't the money. The real story is that millions of Canadians may have been eligible to file a claim, but many never knew there was a claim to file until it was too late. So what exactly was the Canadian Bread Settlement? The settlement stems from allegations that major companies involved in Canada's bread industry coordinated bread pricing over many years. The case eventually led to class action lawsuits and a settlement fund for eligible Canadians who purchased packaged bread products during the covered period. For many consumers, the process was surprisingly simple. You didn't need decades of grocery receipts. You just had to meet the eligibility requirements and submit a claim before the deadline. And that's where the biggest problem appeared. Not eligibility, not paperwork, awareness. A huge number of Canadians simply never heard about it while claims were open. Others heard about it but assumed it was a scam. Some thought they needed proof of every loaf they had ever purchased. Others figured the payout would be too small to bother with. Then there were people who only discovered the settlement after payment started going out. By then, the claims process had already closed. The bread settlement highlights something many people don't realize. Being eligible for compensation doesn't automatically mean you'll receive it. For most class action settlements, you have to know the settlement exists, understand the deadline, and submit a claim before time runs out. Miss any one of those steps, and you could miss out entirely. And this isn't unique to bread. Every year there are settlements involving retailers, banks, telecommunications companies, data breaches, airlines, consumer products, and countless other services people use every day. Many Canadians qualify for these settlements without ever knowing they exist. So how can you avoid missing future claims? First, pay attention when major consumer lawsuits make the news. Settlements often take years to reach the compensation stage, but those early headlines can be a clue that claims may eventually become available. Second, occasionally check reputable class action and settlement websites such as ClassAction.org, the Canadian Class Actions Monitor, or the websites of law firms handling major class action cases. Consumer news outlets like CBC News, CTV News, and Global News also frequently report on large settlements when claims become available. A quick check every few months can help you spot active claims you might otherwise miss. Third, don't automatically delete every settlement email. Verify it through official sources first. Scams certainly exist, but legitimate settlement notices exist too. And finally, don't dismiss a claim simply because the payout seems small. The bread settlement wasn't about getting rich. It was about consumers receiving compensation they were entitled to claim. A few minutes spent filing a form turned into real money for many Canadians. Looking back, that's the biggest lesson here. The people who received payments weren't necessarily luckier or more deserving than the people who missed out. In many cases, they simply heard about the settlement before the deadline. That's it. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. When you hear about a class action settlement, don't ignore it. Take a few minutes to verify the details, check whether you're eligible, and make a note of the deadline. Because sometimes, the easiest money you'll ever qualify for isn't hidden behind special qualifications or complicated applications. It's simply waiting for the people who know it exists. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.